echo going. We got this going. Video's recording. We got a backup. All right, everything's ready. All we need now is Poopy Soft. Here we go.
Does Patrick Beja do this ad copy?
No. Wait, there's Poopy Soft in here? Who wrote Poopy Soft?
What ad copy am I hearing? Oh, I've got it. Okay, another stream
That's
window
you.
came up. Never mind.
Yeah.
It's not you. I thought you were streaming Patrick going like, hello, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
nope.
What's going on?
That's
okay,
amazing.
I'll shut up.
That's definitely not me. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to Core. This is Core episode, where are we? 255. Holy crap. Thursday, February 18th, 2021. Scott Johnson here with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger. And we're at it again, fellas. We got it going on right here on the eve. Let's see. Yeah, the eve of BlizzCon Line. Ooh.
Yeah, it's BlizzCon Line Eve.
Yeah.
The excitement of what I was going to say was completely killed by that awful title. Like having to stumble over BlizzCon Line to try and get to the rest of the thing I was going to ejaculate in the sense, in the verbal sense, as sometimes when you read a book, they say, I want out, Robert ejaculated.
Yes.
Like, they do that in books. So I'm actually using it in a conversational context.
Yeah.
But the excitement with which I was about to ejaculate something exciting about BlizzCon Line was stopped because I tripped over BlizzCon Line so hardcore.
Yeah.
It's great to be back, everyone.
It is great to be back, isn't it? And also, I read that that was in a Harry Potter book where Ron ejaculated quite a bit. They would say that. It wasn't
Ron always ejaculated.
It wasn't fan fiction. It was like straight up J.K. Rowling would say, he'd be in class and go, Professor so-and-so, that's not right. Ron ejaculated like that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, there's a comma there. Oxford comma matters.
So like that's a weird thing about the world, right? We have all these books that do that, but none of us ever say that casually in conversation,
right?
But it happens still. It's still in a lot of written books now.
Yeah,
I use the word ejaculated in casual conversation far more than you might think.
Give me an example. Give us a raw example of when John might throw that word out.
Raw example.
I feel like I've walked into a place, realized I shouldn't be here, and have nothing to offer that's going to be appropriate or acceptable.
Yeah.
And I'd like to just Abe Simpson this and turn right back around, collect my hat, and head back out the way I came.
Perfect. Perfect. I like that. Also, the best.
That's a raw example if I ever heard one.
Yeah, it's pretty raw. I don't use that word very often, but I will today. We've got a lot of news to ejaculate here on the show, and very excited about it. Games we've been playing, all that kind of stuff. And because BlizzCon Line is starting, we may have some thoughts and feelings about what we might hear this week, some of which got leaked, but I don't think we're going to talk too much about all that. Just, some people are staying away from the leakage, and I don't know that there's anything in here that either wasn't already predicted, already rumored, or...
it was the most. I mean, what I saw, and I don't know if I saw the right thing. It was the most ever leak. Like, oh wow,
yeah, it wasn't
really leaked a spectacular set of predictions.
The stuff, the stuff that we're all kind of pining for, whether it be additional WoW stuff or Diablo 4 stuff. None of that's leaked, and none of it. We don't know what's happening with any of it. So there's still so much for this show to have that didn't happen. The one notable part about it, I guess we may as well mention it now, is the leak is kind of a leak. It's more of a Blizzard mistake. They had uploaded PR content or basically like co-stream assets and some other things. They do this all the time so that people who want to stream stuff, including me on Friday, I've got plans to do a co-stream with Garrett. I'm going to use... some of the art and some of the stuff, the assets that they gave us, and they always do this. Whenever there's an event, they send you a link and say, here's access to it, and it's a public link, so it's not a hard thing to get. And it's usually like, oh, here's Ardenweald background, and here's Thrall looking pissed, and here's a cool wallpaper, and here's some other stuff for maybe overlays you might do on your stream. And I guess in there was erroneously and by accident was some stuff that led to a few of these leaks. And it's kind of a bummer that that's how that went down. But
I mean, it's a big company with a lot of shit, information exchanging hands. I mean, accidents are about to happen.
Yep, it's all true. But we got other stuff too. We had the first Nintendo Direct this week since last September. I want to say it was a long time ago, and a lot was announced there. There's only one part of it I care about, and a bunch of other stuff. You can have pets in No Man's Sky now, so let's get to it. I mean, one of us even played it, I assume, for the pets, right, John? You played it. You went to play it for the pets. Was that the idea?
Two of us played it.
Oh, I missed that.
Bo was in there. Bo was in there too.
I mean, that's since Divinity 2 wrapped up. It's been a multiplayer experience for me. I have to teach people how to play this game, and apparently it's a very easy game, but it's hard for some people.
Are we? Anyways. Is that some person? Are we going to call him Crofton in Canada? Is that the person?
Are. Anyways,
okay.
Yeah. Right. I say this is a pretty easy game. It's like a space sim, but an easy version, so everyone can wrap their heads around it. And then played for an hour. He's like, "This isn't easy," and I'm like, "God, you suck at games." Like, there's like 4 buttons in this game, and you got to learn a recipe. But anyways, it's turning out to be quite fun.
Yeah,
I blew their minds when I said, "Oh yeah, you can milk the aliens eventually. You can build a milker." And
of course, that's what got him excited. He's stoked about that, getting to milk his own.
Well, I mean, it's just what game? There's not many games that aren't explicitly like a farm game where you can milk things.
That's true.
Especially aliens. Like, have you seen some of the aliens in this game? They don't look milkable, but here we are.
Everything's got.
I believe the text even says "gently milk."
Oh, does it? Gently milk a.
Yeah, it's a gentle milking.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Well, nobody wants a hard milking.
Assertive or aggressive one.
Right. You don't want to milk too hard is what I'm saying. But
right. You want the milk to feed nicely to you. You don't want it to ejaculate all over.
Yeah, you want it to ease from the nipple. You don't need a ejaculatory nipple. I agree with that. A forceful ejection of the milky material from said nipple.
It's funny, though, because usually I get back into No Man's Sky after they do one of these updates. Yeah. And this is the first time where I actually beat the update. I was like, man, I could go for more No Man's Sky. I'm going to get back into that. And I played it, and I played it, I think, for a day or two. And then they said, here's a big update with pets. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is great.
Yeah.
And the thing I love about them is because they do these big updates, my WoW player brain is like, all right, well, what kind of crazy thing am I going to have to grind in order to enjoy these great new features that they put in? And sometimes they do stuff like that, but in this case, no. You go down to the planet. I crafted something. It was super easy to craft. Didn't cost hardly anything. I gave an animal some food, and it was like, you want this to be your loyal companion? I was like, yes, it's adorable. It runs on 2 legs, has wings, and is the cutest little thing I've ever seen in my life. Huh. I need this to just follow me everywhere I go, and it does.
Can I do one of the gnarly-looking, penis-looking ones? Like, that doesn't have to be a cute one, right? I can be whatever I find.
Oh, no, you can pick a true abomination if you want.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they got these weird, like, celery, penis-y, eyeball-y things. Like, I think I know what Scott's talking about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all such a mix, and they're never two are the same. But there is a semi sort of common, very awkward looking ish creature that you see in a lot of planets, and I want to get the ugliest frickin' one and make him my best friend. That's what I mean.
You can get some really humongous ones too. Like, I've been on a planet where they're the size of the Empire State Building. Like, I just walk around, and you hear goosh 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 goosh, and they're mammals and they're super friendly. Like they're herbivores and they don't attack you, but they're just humongous.
So there's no limit on how big, or it's just any of those?
No. Like, I've seen them the size of houses. Like, it's kind of wild, and it's like they look kind of like the small versions, but they're their own unique remix, and they're the size. Like, you're just like, oh my god, this is huge.
How about the big? No, go ahead.
Giant chicken with a beetle shell on its back, and it was big as a mountain. And I rode on it. I didn't make it my companion, but I climbed up on top. And I rode around the landscape on top of a giant beetle chicken. It was amazing.
That's pretty great. Are they rideable in every case? Is everything a mount as well, or no?
I think it depends somewhat on the pet. Okay. Because like Bo said, there's some that live under the ground, and you just see parts of them pop up here and there. I don't think those are. My current pet is too small, like, because it's just a little baby of this creature.
Yeah.
So it's not really rideable. But I think once you get to like a certain size, They're like, yeah, you can ride it, and apparently very large, still rideable, because I was thromping around. That's tall.
Great. I love that. I think I'm in. I need to get in there again then. The question is, where do I do it? Because I really like playing that thing on my butt on the couch, and I really like the Series X version of that game, so I might do it there. But then, like, one of these times I'm worried we're going to get so sucked into it that the three of us are going to finally go, you know what we ought to do? We ought to go build that base we talked about forever ago. And then I'm going to be on the wrong platform.
Crossplay.
Yeah. So I should probably play it on PC. Now that I say
you can play wherever you want, though. But because you can do crossplay between PC and console versions if you want.
I didn't know that.
The thing about that is we'd have to exchange friend codes, and that's fine. It's just
you do?
additional hurdle. Yeah, so when you're on Steam, I can see my friends list in there.
Yeah.
But because Crofton couldn't pull the trigger, he played over Xbox Live.
Yeah.
And when I logged in, I couldn't see him, so we had to exchange codes, and we each had to input codes to be able to see each other.
Oh, well, I think I have you guys already. Oh, you mean like not?
Yeah, we're all on Steam, but Game Pass is not the same. It's considered a different environment than Steam.
But I have you on Game Pass, so since you're already a friend on Game Pass, and I'm yours on Game Pass, and we're Steam friends.
Steam account? Yeah. I thought you have it on Steam.
I do. No, I'm just saying.
To play it on his couch.
Yeah, if I end up playing on my Xbox, I think we're already friends.
That's what I mean.
No,
you'd have. It's not the same account as your Steam account.
No, so that's what I'm saying. I've already. What I'm saying is, you and I are friends on both Steam and Game Pass. So wouldn't it?
Oh,
just
we are
work?
friends on. Are we friends? Yeah, maybe. I don't remember. I think so.
So I think it would just work. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we can test it.
Yeah, we could test it. But the point is, that's cool, and I'm excited to hear that they're doing that stuff. That game continues to impress me with their willingness to just do constant updates, never charge for any of them.
Like, I'm at the point where I'm like, do they still really not need to make money? Like, it's cool and all. I just,
Do you think they're still selling? Do you think they just? I mean, I know they still sell copies of the game because you hear about it going on sale. It shows up in the top 10 a lot on Steam.
Yeah.
So they must be doing okay. But whether you're right though, like at some point, don't they have to do something else? Like I know they've got their campfire game, which is like a secondary little thing that's nothing to do with No Man's Sky. It's free. Well, not free, but it's part of Apple Arcade. So if you have that, you're already getting it. So it's sort of free. You can get it on PC.
To the point where it's so impressive.
Right. I agree. I mean, do they do a sequel? Do they finally do a full expansion and say, okay, for $29, we're doing an actual No Man's Sky expansion? Or are they just happy to just keep chipping away at it, being a small team and not stressing about the perpetual growth that everyone expects all the time out of everybody?
It's enviable. I wish I could feel this way about more games.
Yeah.
Like it's wild.
It's really cool.
Meanwhile, your favorite trading card game is constantly your trading card game is constantly trying to sell you JPEGs. Like Hearthstone, every 3 months they want you to drop $80 on JPEGs, and in the meanwhile, if this is your favorite game, you get kind of new, neat things all the time.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild.
It's pretty crazy. Anyways. Sorry, John, what were you going to say?
No, it feels nice to feel, to a degree, it's like I'm taking advantage of them instead of feeling like, well, here comes the big video game company taking my money again. And it just feels nice to be like, hey, if you guys want some more money, at this point, I feel like I'd give you some if you want it. Mm-hmm. You don't have to. I don't have much, but I will give you some if you would like some. If you want to do No Man's Sky 2.0 or whatever you want to call it, I'll freaking do it. Mm-hmm. Because they've really gone above and beyond, and that game was already impressive from mostly a mathematical perspective. When you just go, hey, we created a thing that has 18 quintillion worlds for you to explore. Yeah. And you go, well, that's a number that's insane. Yeah. And when you try to think about that number, and when you try and think of how much space, like if you had 18 quintillion Word documents with a single character on it, like that's not a small thing.
No.
And this is way more complicated than that.
Yeah. So it's very cool.
You start to think about it and you're like, what they did was really hard. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they should be appreciated. Now, I'm not going to pretend that the way it launched was a phenomenal, earth-shattering game. I liked it at the time, but I definitely felt a little disappointed. Mm-hmm. But the way they have supported that and turned it into something even greater beyond it is really impressive.
They have earned their way out of that hole, man, and that launch hole that they had. And even then, like, you're right. It's hard to do it because of the hype and all the other problems with how gamers see everything. But when that thing launched, it was kind of, especially for a team of that size, kind of a mathematical miracle that that thing even existed. So was it missing a lot of the gameplay? Yes. Was it missing the compelling reasons to care about a thing that was that mathematically impressive? Absolutely. But they have earned it since, with every update, then even more so. They've gone well beyond that point of earning that back. And now I think if they came out and said, look, we're doing a huge expansion and it's going to be, I mean, I don't know what that would be. The world's already this huge, expansive thing. So what do you even do? But if they did, I'd gladly give them more money because they've earned it. They've done a really killer job. So go look for that today. Pets and Companions, everybody. Just what you've been looking for. Do animals poo? They do, right? Because I can collect their poo.
Oh, yeah, they poop.
That's my one criticism. It's just not called poo. Like, it's called it's one of the elements. Like, I don't even remember what's the element, like a veracinium or something.
Facium or something like that.
Yeah, facium. Like, they really should just have a poo, like a poo card. And they should make different sizes while they're at it. Big aliens should have boulder poos, and little aliens should have like Smarties poo or something like that.
But I can't remember what you collected
combine them to make different compounds.
Wasn't it it's for like doing your gardening stuff, right? That's what that's for when you collect their poo.
I think it does a lot of things. I don't remember what, but there's a whole like cooking. There's also a big cooking. Like, you can get a space barbecue. Have you tried the space barbecue?
I have not done that.
Yeah, so
I feel like the next big update.
You can use that to make food.
Here's the next big update, and it'd probably be free. This is what I want them to do. They're probably not doing this, but I would love it if they revamped the crafting just to tweak it a little bit. Right now, it's kind of a mess.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a lot.
I think that interface, everything can be shrunk down a bit and provide a little more. I love those games that show you the recipes in the game and you don't have to try and remember them or look them up. Like, they could do a little, that UI for showing you what the recipes are. It could be better.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd take
there's a lot of little tweaks like that. It looks like maybe they're considering some of those, though, because this update did include where anytime you're given a dialogue choice, you don't have to move a cursor over the option you want to pick.
Mm-hmm.
It locks the cursor to the top option, and then you select like you normally would in any other video game,
great, actually.
which option you want. So
that's cool.
Because there's a part, because when you're trying to learn language, you have to go talk to 15 different people and do the same dialogues. So, like, to make that faster, it'd be great.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that. Anyway, more on that as we see. Check it out. Nintendo did a Direct. It's been since, like I said, last year, and it's its first full length Direct in 2 years. So they've done mini stuff here and there, but this is their first big one. I missed it live. I really wanted to see it. I can't remember what I was doing. Oh, I was in rehearsal for and tech check for this Blizzard thing this weekend, so I wasn't able to see it. But they announced a bunch of new stuff, and you can never please everybody with these particular updates, but everything I want is happening. I really want these Mario updates and freaking warp pipes coming to my island on freaking Animal Crossing. I'm really stoked about that. Even though it seems like a small thing, I'm very excited about that. And then the big one for me is Mario Golf. I'm a gigantic fan of that series, and I buy them on everything they ever made them on, starting with that first Game Boy Color game. I love that game. Oh my gosh, I played that in the where I worked at the time. I just sit in that bathroom for an hour and a half and play. I just loved it. People were
I don't
worried
think you're
about
supposed to admit to that, Scott.
I
think that's supposed to be a secret. It's fine.
They're going to call me into HR now and get all mad at me. I can't believe back in 1999 or whatever it was you were doing that. But yeah, anyway, I
used to play Fire Emblem on bathroom breaks.
Oh, that's a good.
That was
a good.
That was a long one to get into, though. You'd be like, I'm going to just do one battle.
Yeah.
Be like, John, that was 45-minute bathroom break, and you're like, yeah, it was. I had a big lunch.
Well,
it's not for you to judge.
You might be happy then, because they announced that new Square Enix tactical RPG, whose name escapes me at the moment. Where is it? It's a real goofy name. Trying to find it. Can't find it. Okay. Well, anyway, it's a game called something. And it is basically, it looks like Final Fantasy Tactics, and it's sort of like a spiritual successor to that. And that's a lot like that game. So you could sit on your toilet for a long time playing that, maybe.
I do like tactic games. Yeah. They're good. But my favorite thing about Nintendo Direct, and while I'm with you, Mario Golf was to me, that's the big announcement of all of them. That was the kind of the one thing I was actually interested in. But my favorite thing about Nintendo Directs is the way they present them. Because Nintendo, you wouldn't know if they have a differing opinion on what they're announcing. They announce everything on a Nintendo Direct like it's the most important thing that they've ever done in the history of their company. Yep. If they had worked out a deal with Microsoft to switch the little Minesweeper bomb icon into a bomb, they would set an entire section of the Direct aside, and they would go, "We're super pleased to announce that when you download the Nintendo update and play Minesweeper, the mines will now be bombs. Please enjoy our game." Like, they are just 100% committed to anything. It could be the dumbest, lamest news in the world, and they have somebody presenting it, and they are excited about it, and they're talking about it like you should be excited about it too. And I really respect that.
Yeah.
Even though most of the time, as I watched the Direct, I was like, I don't care about most of this. Doesn't matter. They're excited, and that's just great.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I really like Splatoon 2, so 3 getting announced actually kind of made me excited. That game was a little hamstrung by the way multiplayer works on that device. Maybe they'll fix some of that for this, but I think the Splatoon series is underrated and very cool. A lot of people were hoping for Mario Kart 9 or news about Breath of the Wild 2, which they did bring up, but said they're not going to be able to talk about it till the end of the year, so don't expect that game this year. They didn't talk at all about Metroid, which bummed a lot of people out.
They did announce Skyward Sword HD Remaster coming out on Switch, which is weird because we talked about that, I want to say, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we said, well, how is that going to work? Because that whole game was based very heavily around the Wii Motion Plus gimmick.
Yep.
And does that mean you have to play it with the little waggles? Are you going to be able to play it on a Switch Lite? How's it going to play? How's it going to perform? I'm really curious about that. Although by most accounts, it's not the best Zelda game in the whole wide world anyway, but I'm kind of curious.
Well, I liked Skyward Sword fine, but I don't like gimmicky stuff. Like one of the only thing that really hamstrung the 2 Mario Galaxy games for me was that terrible second player controller waggle mess. I hated that stuff. And having to do that in those games annoys me, and they didn't even fix that with that 35-year anniversary stuff. So from what I understand, according to this Kotaku article I found, they have a way to do this. So here's what they said. The upcoming Switch version has a workaround for, those old Wii controls. Sure, you can use the Joy-Cons to simulate the Wii remotes if you want. That's obvious. But what if you own a Switch Lite or are playing in handheld mode, or most importantly, hated Skyward Sword's motion controls with all your heart? So as well, you can use the buttons. Finally, the right thumb sticks handles sword actions, while the other swingy actions are relegated to button presses. You can see all of this in action below, and they show that in part of the trailer for that during the Direct. So I have faith that they can figure out a way to translate that okay.
The question is, will it be fun though?
Yeah, I don't know. If this was an announcement of, hey, we're doing Wind Waker HD again, I'd been more excited about Wind Waker again because I love Wind Waker. Now, if I'm Nintendo headquarters, I'm probably going, we can't do that again. That would be an offense to our people or whatever. I don't know what they'd say.
Right.
But for me, that would have been the game to tell me you're doing a new HD version for, and I would buy it immediately on release. This one I'm waiting for reviews, and we'll see. Because I think all Zelda games at their heart are good in some way, with the exception of Majora's Mask is the worst. I hate that game.
Oh boy, people are gonna have thoughts on that one, Scott.
Take away the timer, it's a great game. Leave the timer in, makes me want to kill myself. Freaking hate it. But also, I also have problems with Breath of the Wild. It's an amazing game with a bunch of stuff I hate, like breakable weapons and
breakable weapons.
Mainly that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, and I hate it more that I'm now playing Phoenix Rising and realizing how much fun that can be without that in my way. Like, just get that out of the way and quit having it be this like weird gatey mechanic that just makes me mad and ruins my day and messes up shrine visits and everything else. I freaking hate that. So,
but like no other game does either. Like,
no, well. I mean, weapons decay.
We have durability in an RPG, but it's not even close to what you're talking about.
Right. Like, if there was a way for me to fix those weapons in Zelda Breath of the Wild, I wouldn't be complaining, because all RPGs have decaying weapons or they break down over time or whatever. Diablo.
There are repair mechanics like whetstones and et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that, to me, would fix it, but they never did. Anyway, I don't even know if 2 will have that problem, but since they're not talking about that, we're left with Skyward Sword. That's fine. I'd still take Wind Waker over all these, because I still think that Wind Waker might be my favorite Zelda game ever made. I love that game.
Pretty darn good.
Oh, it's so good. And it looked great. That Wii U remastered looked fantastic. There's no reason they couldn't just port this over. So I don't know what the holdup is. They're probably just doing them in order for all I know. But anyway, that's those are the big ones. The one for me, the big one for me is Mario Golf, like I mentioned. I think that RPG looks pretty cool. I'm trying to find the damn name for it. Here it is. Project Triangle Strategy. It's a terrible name. But it's a Square Enix name.
Is that its actual name, or is it that's what it's called right now?
It is called the literal name, like in big blazing logo, is Project Triangle Strategy. So what do you think of that?
Sounds super fascinating.
That's the
Project
name.
Triangle
Really?
Fantasy?
Yeah.
Or is it like when
strategy.
they talked about the GameCube and it was called Project Dolphin?
Well, this is supposedly a finished name for the game. It does say tentatively titled. Interesting.
Okay, they're gonna change that.
Okay.
That can't be a name.
Yeah, but
That's not
think
a
all
name.
those animes you love, man. There's so many dumb anime names, like Dirty Girl Monkey Pants is the name of this manga.
Dirty Girl Monkey Pants is a classic. It's timeless. It's intro bangs. It's really good.
It's all about the intros of you guys. I love it.
I mean, they're probably going to replace it with, like we always criticize, they went through the name, fantasy fight name generator, and it's going to be called Legends of the League of Heroes Champion Edition.
Yeah,
Project Strategy. I'm watching the thing now. It says working title.
It does say that. Okay. So that means the game's not as far along as it looks neat, though. Like the game itself looks rad. I think I'd play that game. But that was a bit of a surprise. The fact that Mario Golf's coming out in June was a surprise. That's sooner than people expected. But this doesn't include, there's no new Mario Kart, which, probably needs a refresh at this point. 8 is really just the same 8 that the Wii U had. Can't please everybody, but I think overall it was all right. Seemed like a decent number of titles. Bunch of third-party stuff, too. That Fall Guys game is coming, and, hop on board that train, I guess. All that.
Put a bunch of Xenogears people in Smash.
Oh,
which
yeah,
I'm sure,
right.
it's never controversial when somebody gets added to Smash, so I'm sure everybody was happy with it, and nobody said a negative thing, especially with such a well-known property like Xenogears.
Yeah, that'll I'm sure that was quiet.
Yeah,
quiet. Nobody made a big deal out of it. I did see, this is not part of this, but I saw Shovel Knight is coming to Ubisoft's For Honor game.
Wow.
Finally,
right? It's so dumb. The jamming of Shovel Knight into everything is one of my favorite things in gaming. I don't even understand why it's happening. Like, I know
you create a studio, and I feel like you get a call, and you can, hello, hi, we represent Shovel Knight. We're wondering if we can put him in your game. My game is a Tetris clone. Yeah, but what if Shovel Knight shoveled the pieces onto the screen?
Right. Like, to me, it's the weirdest thing. It's like Captain Television or whatever they used to do with that Endless Runner character. Captain TV or what was that called? It was called...
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean, right? And he ended up in every other indie game. Like, they just all say, hey, what if we had Captain TV or Meat Boy's going to show up in such and such or whatever. So if it were me, I would have put that in. I would have put Shovel Knight in Smash Brothers, or maybe Meat Boy would be good in Smash Brothers, for example. Like if you're gonna do some of that weirdness, go all the way. Xenogears.
Man, Meat Boy would be great in Smash Brothers. You could do a lot with meat.
I agree, and you'd leave a little trail of bloody meat everywhere. It would really up the maturity level.
They should put the Hades guy as Agrius.
Yes. Yes.
Oh man,
all the gods
there it is.
Smash Brothers.
Yep.
Actually, you should just make Hades Smash
Hades.
Oh my gosh, yes.
By the way,
Zagreus
John,
should be in there.
Yeah.
I spotted a hand you need to evaluate in the Smash section of the Nintendo Direct.
We haven't done this in a while. Okay, hold on.
It didn't look like a very good hand, and it made.
Yeah,
I was like,
something.
Before I realized it was Smash, I was like, oh, this game's maybe kind of shit because look at how bad they did that.
So this hand is from what? From
they're
Smash
wearing.
Brothers?
Yeah, they're wearing gloves that aren't great for pretending you have normal hands.
Okay.
Yeah, but his fingers look too small. Like he's got a gigantic palm, and then he's got these little stubby fingers.
I think
even
it's because that
coloring.
yellow. Yeah, I think it might be partially the coloring, but yeah, even with it, there's something going on with that hand.
You're being
it's
more
very
gentle than I
angular,
thought.
too.
I thought you were gonna savage this thing up and down, but
Look, I played Heroes of the Storm Bow. I've seen some hands in my day.
Yeah, I was just going to say, for those maybe just joining us and don't know the history here, we have a real thing with finding terrible hands in video games and then talking about it on the air. And this is a bad hand.
What was the best was we would be evaluating a new hero in Heroes of the Storm, and John would come in with the whole, yeah, it's great, but the hands.
Yeah,
we had the hand section of the evaluation.
I think what's throwing us here is there's the silver inside of that glove, and it goes halfway up each finger, and it's making it seem like those fingers are super thin and
yeah. I think
spindly.
I didn't post a big enough copy of the photo because it really looks like his fingers are too small for the palm of his hand.
Yeah. But if you look at it really close,
and they look way fat on the base and way narrow on the tip.
Yeah. There's just all kinds of things are wrong with this hand.
Yeah, it's a bad hand.
But yeah, and then let me be the one to say this hand is utter jank. And
yeah, Bo has spoken.
Smash Brothers.
Bo has spoken on this.
I don't know why I critique hands. I don't have good hands. I have weird hands. I have a bent pinky on both hands.
But you're a human. You have the hand. You define the hands. These are depictions of hands.
Yeah,
right.
Look, my pinky finger crooks.
Oh, look at that. It's like a little curve.
We have hand diversity,
Yeah, it's curved. It's a fun magic trick with kids though, because I can make it look like it's straight.
Yeah.
And so I'll always go up to the kids and I'll go, "Hey guys, you want to see something freaky?"
Oh, you leave it there.
That's gross.
That's great.
And they're like, "Oh, that's disturbing." And I'm like, "Haha, I traumatized you like any good adult." And then I run away.
If y'all are listening to the podcast version, you just missed a great visual demonstration of John's jacked up pinky.
That was uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Like watching this cheese guy with his cheese fountain. Anyway, keep your eyes out for bad hands, you guys. You can send them in to us too. talktothecore@gmail.com because we'd love to share more of these. We love bad hands. Yeah. I think in Heroes of the Storm, the king of bad hands was who was it?
Sylvanas had pretty gnarly hands. Big sausage fingers on Sylvanas.
I remember you didn't like Tyrandas, I think, maybe.
Oh, Karazim. Karazim had terrible hands. Remember?
Oh, yeah. He had 82 knuckles, and his back was weird, too. He had abs on his back.
He did have weird back. Oh, I used to love when we would do that. We would find these little flaws. So that's us. We find your hands, and then we make fun of them. So
just video game hands, not real life.
Oh, yeah,
hands.
Not real hands.
We're not hurting anybody. Maybe an artist might.
Yeah, no hand shaming here. You're supposed to put your best work on video games. If you know, John having a weird hand. I also have. Let's see, which one's the one that has.
Which one's the weird one?
I have one with a big old scar right in the middle because I jammed a big fat X-Acto knife into it when I was in high school. And it left a big, giant white scar, but now I can't find it. There it is.
I also have you know how they always say, "Oh, let's look at your lifeline on your hand."
Yeah.
To see how it bends. I also have a lifeline on my hand that's basically a straight line.
Oh, look at
right
that!
Across.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Talk to some
I don't have a
mystic.
straight one.
Let's see what you got, Bo. Hold your hand up to the camera.
No, mine is just like.
Oh yeah, yours are all over the place like mine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, John.
Why is
John,
yours
what
straight?
is that?
Did you hang from a wire at some point in your life and get scarred there? Like,
I don't know.
It's crazy. It's straight across your head.
That's really weird.
I don't know. Let's ask a palm reader. Palm readers, what does it mean when you have a completely straight lifeline?
Even though we think you're completely full of shit, tell us what that means to have that line across your hands. I'd really like to know. Also, I have baby hands. My wife makes fun of my hands because they're very like soft. I don't mean small, but like
mine too.
Really soft hands. I have like
I get this criticism all the time. Everybody says, "Oh, you never worked a hard day in your life."
Yeah.
Shut up.
I think when I'm
I
90,
take care of my hands.
When I'm 90, I'm gonna look like a shriveled piece of bacon, except for my palm, the inside of my hands. They're gonna look at me and I'll just be all, I'm gonna die any second. And then they'll say, "Show us your hands." Bling! And it'll be like freaking 2 little brand new babies, just right there. Never getting old in the hands. Anyway,
I feel like my hand cracks are a little too red.
Why?
I never really paid attention to them. And I'm just comparing
red.
them, and one on the left side doesn't seem as red as the one on the right side. But I turned the light on; it's not as bad now. So maybe it's okay.
Not going to be on the show for another 2 weeks because we made him look at his hands.
We made him look at his red hands. You know what? That's weird. My right hand lines are redder than my left hand lines. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, maybe it's just from holding a mouse.
All right, now let's do
this
testicles.
This is the best podcast we've ever done. all of the hosts on the podcast just staring at their hands for 30 minutes.
I don't know. It just freaked me out. I was like, that's a little too red.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I have an N in the middle of my hand.
On the other hand, did you mean literally on the other hand, or you mean on the other hand like the phrase on the other hand?
On the other hand.
Okay.
Is that showing the N? There's an N or a Z or an S. Is it showing to you?
I don't see it. You have a mole. You have a mole on your hand.
So here,
chat room is saying now let's do testicles.
I don't know why. Those are stories that don't need to be told. That mole is a blood blister that just turned into a brown spot that I'm apparently going to have forever. I pinched my finger in something, and now it's just a permanent spot on my body.
Nick did that with a ballpoint pen when he was 4, and it went into his bicep and left a little blue mark from the ink, and we were all worried about it. Like, we took him in and everything, and they're like, "Nah, it's not a big deal. It's not poisonous or whatever. He'll be fine." He still has it. He still has it. He's 20. He has it right here. And I think what happened is it basically tattooed him. That's what happened.
You sure that tip is not in there somewhere still?
We've checked. It's not hard, or there's no. And they did what do you call it? Not MRI.
I mean, you checked or a doctor checked?
A doctor checked. I didn't check.
Like, we checked, and I'm like,
we took him in, and it was good, and he's good now. He's got He's got a nice little man muscle there, and he's got a little blue dot that he had when he was 4.
Damn.
It's so dumb. Human bodies are stupid.
They are stupid.
I mean, really, what kind of world is it? I pinch my hand a little too much, and it bleeds a little, and then it's like, well, now that's just a thing that looks like a mole or a freckle on your hand. Yeah. How long is this going to last? Forever.
For the rest of your life.
This is going to be a thing you have forever because you pinched your skin, you big idiot.
Yeah. It's going to open up like an eyeball and blink at you one night. You're going to be like, shit.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yep. Watch out for that.
Like, who was the vampire that had was it a whole face on his hand? Vampire Hunter D?
Oh.
Or was it just a mouth?
Right. Was that I saw part of that. I actually like that. That's my kind of anime, by the way. Vampire Hunter D. I'm into it. That's a dumb name,
What's
too.
the D stand for?
Who knows?
Yeah, why is there one initial? What the hell?
Why one initial?
Does it stand for anything, or is he Series D of A, B, C, D, E, F, G?
It stands for cesarean.
Oh, Desarian. It's Desarian. Got it.
Desarian.
Yeah, nailed it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Moving on. Nintendo did their thing. It was good. We're going to see what happens there. Oh, and I'm not going to talk about it in length because I've just cracked it open, plus I've already played it once, but one of the best games the Wii U ever had, and it was a crime that not enough people bought Wii U's because they never played it, because it is in my top 3 Mario games of all time. Super Mario 3D Super Mario 3D World. Land was on 3DS. This is the World version. Anyway, that came out last week. I got it on Switch, and I love it. I love it.
This is the Bowser's Fury?
The furry Bowser. No, I haven't. So that's on there too, and I haven't touched it. I was asking a friend who reviewed it for the Washington Post yesterday if he would tell me whether I could jump right over and do that, or if I should play through all of this first, like whatever. He didn't answer me. I haven't read enough reviews to say, so I don't know when I'm supposed to play that, but apparently that thing's awesome. I don't even know what you do, but apparently it's cool.
Bowser's furious, man.
Yeah, he's pretty pissed. Anyway,
3D World looks pretty awesome.
It is awesome. It's just that the team that did the two games with 3D in it, and this has no, the 3DS version literally had 3D with the screen, so they were trying to kind of capture that, and it worked well. It was also fine with it off, but this game is that same team, but the 3D part has nothing to do with any kind of 3D like glasses. It's just they're just saying 3D land because it's in that style. And
it's in the style it looks like the 2D games, but in 3D, if that makes
kind of,
right?
Yeah. I mean, and you can even do 4-player stuff, like 4-player co-op or whatever. It's a little chaotic. I don't love it that way. I really like it solo, and I really like it's a little more like Super Mario 2 in that you can choose Mario or be Luigi or be Peach or be Toad, and they all jump different or faster, or they can get higher, whatever. They have different abilities. I'm kind of a just vanilla Mario guy. I don't really care to use those other guys. Maybe once in a while Luigi gets dusted off for me, but the puzzles and the levels in this are some of my favorite in the entirety of Mario ever. I love this game. So it's out now. It's fantastic, and people should play that. But I can't speak to that Bowser thing quite yet because I haven't touched it. So
if Super Mario Brothers 2 is your favorite Mario Brothers, are you technically not a Super Mario fan?
You're actually a criminal and should be put in federal penitentiaries for the rest of your life. Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers 2 is amazing.
Okay, I'll go on record. I really like Super Mario Brothers 2. Part of this is me knowing that it was not a Mario Brothers game before it turned into one.
Panic.
Yeah, it was Doki Doki Panic, which was some other thing. So Nintendo didn't make it. This wasn't What's His Beak coming to it for the second time. I think 3 is a vastly superior game, but 2 is just weird enough that I like it, but I don't think it fits very well in the Nintendo pantheon. Like even though once in a while I'll see a villain from that, like what was his name, Birdo.
Birdo's great. Yeah. Shy Guys are from there.
That's true.
Sniffets are from there.
That's true.
That cool cactus is from there.
That's true. These are all true.
Wart.
Yeah.
He never really shows up again, but he's great.
And the eggs don't really show up again. The eggs are done.
There's eggs all over Mario.
The pinnacle Mario experience is the Super Nintendo one. Was that Land?
No, World. World was amazing.
World.
Yeah. World is probably, of the 2D Marios, it is absolutely the best, I think.
Yeah. I can't argue that. I do like 2 more than 3, though.
But 3D Marios, where I go on that list, and this changes sometimes depending on how I'm feeling, I really liked the newest one. I like Odyssey a lot. I think Super Mario Odyssey is freaking amazing. I would put that probably at top for me. Second place, probably 3D World, which I'm playing now. And then really close to that is just about everything else. And I'm not a hater on the painter or the backpack one, Sunshine. I like Sunshine. I like Sunshine just fine. It's a good Mario game. They don't. If anything, Sunshine's just a lot like 64, but better graphics. Like that's not a problem for me. I like it. I'm into it. So I like them all, but on the 2D side, 2 is not. 2 is ranked, but it's ranked as like this weird ass thing. Pulling turnips and hucking them. What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's great. It's a better game.
Even in Mario Maker 1 and 2, neither of the Mario Makers include any assets or abilities from 2.
That's because it'd be too hard. You'd have to put in a whole different logic. It's not for lack of interest. If they didn't like it, they wouldn't have put Shy Guys and stuff in this thing going forward.
What they determined were the best things about it were some of the enemies, and they carried those forward. And that's, it's okay. It has its place in history. I'm not going to besmirch it. I just can't call it number 1, which is what you were saying. Right?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it over World. Okay. I was just saying if someone liked 2 more than the others, are they a Mario Brothers fan?
Right.
I'm not that person. I think 2 is the second best 2D Mario game.
Wow, really?
Over 3? I think it's better than Super Mario Brothers. Like, hey, the original Super Mario Brothers, it's groundbreaking. It's amazing. It set the stage for a lot. I don't think it's that great of a game these days.
Yeah,
I don't think it holds up.
Yeah,
it's fine. You can play it, but I don't think it's amazing.
I agree.
Super Mario Brothers 3 is really good, but
3 is so good.
I don't know. I would rather play 2. I have more fun with 2. You get to play as the princess. You get that cool floaty jump, or Luigi, where he does this weird little kicking his legs jump. Yeah. There's a lot of variety. You're throwing turnips.
Yeah.
There's that where you pick up the key and that face chases you, and that's terrifying. Yeah. That's great. The game's just full of great stuff.
Mario 64 changed my world. So as much as I don't think it's the best 3D game, in a lot of ways that the first Mario Brothers 2D is not the best 2D, the best of the 2D Marios either. 64 shattered everything and changed video games forever. And it's not given enough credit, or maybe it does get enough credit, but I feel like it doesn't, for just the sheer amount of world-altering gameplay that thing represented. And everything since then owes just a smidge of its gratitude to Mario 64. It's just an incredible thing. I want to do a whole series, a podcast series, like 8 episodes on Mario and the games and those who made them and the controversies and 2 not being a real Mario game and that horrible TV show and the fact that the movie got made. Like I want to do a really well-made, journalistically sort of constructed series. And I don't know why I want to do that, because I have no time for this. But I would love to do that.
Well, I mean, it's a big legacy, right? What's amazing in this world where people are trying to build brands, and then they get up, they abandon Mass Effect at the sight of one bad version of the game or whatever.
Right.
Mario, it's just remained a thing, no matter how dodgy the releases have been. They've been good, but I'm sure they're not all perfect. They're just no, we're gonna stick with this character.
Yeah.
That it's kind of just it's so random. He's just a random little pudgy white dude, jumping on things.
It's so great, though. What a legacy!
That's what makes it great. It's a legacy. Not a lot of fictional IPs have a legacy of what now, 30, 40 years? Is it 30 years?
40. Well, Mario himself, I think, is 40 now.
Yeah.
Right? If you count Jumpman. In
if you go back to Donkey Kong days, right?
There's not many video game IPs that have stood the test of time to that length.
Yeah, no,
and many releases. It's not like they do one every couple of years. It feels like there's 5 Mario games a year. Yeah. Kart and tennis and golf.
But not only that, it's branding on the level of something like Star Wars. In fact, it's the only thing I compare it to, because nobody else does this with their mascots. And even I remember there being a time in the 90s somewhere where somebody said, hey, did you hear more people internationally with some huge poll they did know who Mario is than know who Mickey Mouse is, which was the closest thing we kind of had to that, especially for kids and stuff. And these days, I mean, he is immediately recognizable as what he is, and everyone knows who that is in the way that they know who Luke Skywalker is and who Darth Vader are. And it's that level. And what a hard thing to obtain. Nobody does that.
I watched a YouTube video this past weekend of somebody going through Super Nintendo World at the Universal Studios. I don't remember what country it's in, but it opened up, and that place looks amazing. And it might as well be called Mario World, because it's all Mario themed for the most part. And it's crazy. It's crazy how well it works. They're selling you wristbands so that you can go under all the square blocks and punch it, and it makes the coin sound.
Oh, man.
And lights up, and it's insane. Yep. It's in Japan. Okay, that makes sense. But
it just feels like it's just weird that they can get away with Mario. I'm watching, because while we're recording, I'm watching a bit of the Nintendo Direct, and there's a little thumbnail, on the right side of your YouTube channel. You put a little symbol of your channel, and for Nintendo, it's a close-up of Mario's face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if anybody looked like that in real life, whether they were a musician, an actor, a YouTube personality, with a giant mustache and kind of creepy looking face, no one would listen to a guy that looked like that or want to have any. But for some reason, it's okay with Mario. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're all this is a look that's acceptable.
Yeah.
It's so anachronistic. If anybody looked like that, you'd probably be I don't know, I'm not watching this.
Right. They've earned it. They earned it, and they earned it over time, and they were so consistent with it and so careful with it. That's why Nintendo's such a crazy brand. It's just everything about those guys fascinates me. So if anyone out there's a really good crack researcher And I don't mean you do crack and then research. I mean you're good at researching, and you want to hit me up. Maybe I'm looking for people because I really do want to do like a Mario history thing, and I want to get deep. I want to find out Miyamoto's original vision was very different, and Donkey Kong looked like this, and why was Mario not in Donkey Kong 3? Why was it that bug spray guy? And I want to get that. I want to get down on that level and work my way all the way up to year 35.
Do you think Nintendo ever makes a university?
Nintendo
like there's
U?
a burger university, but for Nintendo. You know, some of these brands are so crazy. Like
maybe is there? Maybe there is.
You need a doctorate in Nintendo. Like,
well, let's find out. Nintendo College, we'll call it. Let's just see what happens here. I thought I heard
a course on Nintendo. Like,
oh, here you go. DigiPen. No, that's not it. Nintendo Campus Challenge. Let's see. Maybe not. I thought I heard once that there was something like that. Was it not Nintendo though? Some big gaming initiative was like, I don't know, maybe they're just letting the colleges do it now. My daughter's about to graduate with a video game design degree from the University of Utah, which is, that degree's only existed for the last 5 years.
Yeah. Like you'd think in some way it would be a company like Nintendo that would do this.
Yeah.
That would have such a reach and have so many brands and need so many. They got to get young people to train them for careers in video game development, because video games, as far as unless the world goes to crap, will be around for hundreds of years. So like, I can see a company like Nintendo having a university come get higher education at Nintendo and then make Nintendo games as a
I could totally see that too. I think that would be cool. All right, moving on.
Oh, and when you get your degree, you walk up and you jump up and hit a block, and the degree comes popping out, and you catch it.
Oh, that's
great! And it
still
plays Pomp and Circumstance. Like
that's great. And if that's just for the doctorate, if you want to get a master's or PhD, those two axe chucking skeleton shitheads are over there doing this while you're trying to
hammer bros throw them at the people.
Yeah.
That's the bachelor degree, because there's so many of them. They throw a hammer bros style.
That's right.
They're tied to the hammers, and you got to catch the hammer.
And have it just crawling with dry guys too, which they're dry bones or whatever they're called. Not dry guys.
Dry guys.
Oh no, it's the dry guys. Watch out, boys.
They avoid alcohol at all costs.
They're dry guys. See? Anyway, all right. Kingdom Hearts coming to PC on the Epic Store. So if you want Kingdom Hearts, get in there, man. Get your Kingdom Hearts on. There's no series I care less about than Kingdom Hearts. So not for me.
Okay, I'm kind of with you. I'm gonna say this because I put this news on here, and it's actually kind of a big deal. Kingdom Hearts has a weird. I'm calling them weird, so get ready for emails.
Okay, I'm ready.
It has a weird fan base. The people who are into Kingdom Hearts are extremely into Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
And I played 1 and I really liked it. I played 2 and I really liked it. I have no idea what's going on in those games. I don't understand the story. Having played 2 of the 3 main games, you would think I would have some semblance of a clue. I don't get them. But I do think it's fun. I do think it is a cool little nostalgia hit game if you're into Disney or into Final Fantasy, and I kind of like both those things. But the fact that it's never been on PC ever before, and that it's coming to PC exclusive to the Epic Store is a really big deal. And I think that's going to be a huge boon for them. I think you are going to see Epic really tout this, because I think this, as much as we might be dismissive of it because Kingdom Hearts is it is what it is, I think it's going to be huge.
But if you were see, this is what you might be right, but my thinking would be, if you're already a massive Kingdom Hearts fan in the vein that you're talking about, because these people are fanatic, they are way into that property, you're not waiting around for 2021's Epic Store eventual release to get your hands on your stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this has got to be for either people who want to get it again and now want to play it on their fancy video card and there's whatever enhancements to that, or it's people that are like, I never did get into that game, but now it's here and this is where I play, so maybe I'll get it here. Like, it seems like those are your two audiences. I'm not sure they're the same or as rabid, because they've already been rabid, and this is just I don't know. I say all that, but then we look what we do with Nintendo games. I could not get this 3D Mario Land thing fast enough because I love it.
Me with Mass Effect.
Right.
We had a listener send me a picture and say, "Is this enough?" And they showed me all their copies of Mass Effect, and they have literally purchased it in every box form you can buy Mass Effect. They own a copy of every single one of those games.
Good Lord.
So, I think that there are people that are definitely, when they're a fan, they live up to the name. And they do what they have to do to do it. Honestly, I might pick it up because, again, I am not into Kingdom Hearts, but I like it just enough to where it's like, I might give that another go. They're not awful games.
No, but you're back to your real-time combat with a Square Enix game, and you don't love that, right? Is that a problem?
I don't love it.
Yeah.
I don't love the real-time combat. I got good enough at it back when Kingdom Hearts first came out that I enjoyed it, but that game controls weird. That game's camera is a problem, but I do like the whimsy of that game.
Sure. And truthfully, I know it's not exactly the same. We're not apples and apples here, but when Final Fantasy VII's remake finally hits PC, I think this year, right? I think that's happening.
I think that's the rumor. Yeah.
My argument kind of falls apart because in theory, those people who are really rabid about it went and got PlayStation 4s if they didn't already have one to play it, like Bo. Bo did that. And if they're real fans or hardcore fans, and they also are big PC gamers, sure, they'll pick it up again, but it's for people who held off for the most part. That'll be me. I don't know. It's interesting whenever these long time console exclusives end up having a big splashy entry on PC. That's always fascinating to me, more so than it is when it goes the other direction. Like when I heard, what was it? Crap, we love it. I almost said Sylvanas. What's wrong with me? What's the name of the real-time space game that we like? Bo, you like it?
No Man's Sky?
StarCraft?
No.
Stellaris?
That's it.
Stellaris.
They announced a Stellaris version, which actually is on Game Pass right now, and I highly recommend checking out the console version of it. It's crazy how good that plays. PC also has controller support now in it as well as a patch. But anyway, when that direction happens, I'm not as... I'm like, oh, that's a cool game. I love it on PC. You're gonna love that on your if all you have is a console. That's gonna be great. Enjoy Stellaris. But when it comes the other way, it feels like news. So, anyway, we'll see. I may play it too. I don't know. John, you'll review it and then I'll decide. How about that? And then you
should play it. I think it'll bug you though.
Well, it'll definitely bug me.
Scott's not. He'll tell him that he's not gonna play it.
Well, it'll bug me for these reasons. I don't mind the good action. I like a good third-person action game. I don't mind that it's Disney characters. That's fine. It's all the anime bullshit I'm not looking forward to. I don't want all that weird convoluted story that I've read about in these games. Now, I haven't played them, so I can't judge, but that was enough to put me off to go, oh, man, this stuff with how contrived it is to have this layer of anime dumbness. Sorry, that's a bad way of putting it. I'm not trying to, you know what I mean. Smashed in with, and we've met up with Woody and Buzz Lightyear for part of our, and like, it's just weird. I can't get my head around it. It's very weird.
There's a lot of that. I mean, it brings you in very easily. You've got kids being like, oh, there's a whole bunch of worlds out there, and there's like Anakin and the Phantom Menace. I'm gonna be the first one to see them all. Like, they're just very excited, and you're like, okay, I can get behind this. And then it starts turning into, but then this person didn't have a heart, and so they became heartless. And then does this person have a heart? Where's their heart? They have it's about heart, and it falls apart.
The heart falls apart.
The people who know what's going on, I'm not saying that the game doesn't have a story. I'm just saying it requires too much effort for me to go down that rabbit hole. That game did a lot of spin-offs that came out on Game Boy and dramatically changed what that game is. And I respect that they said, no, yeah, we're going to make a Game Boy game and it's going to have a story and you better damn well play it if you want to have any idea what's going on in this game. I respect that dedication. I didn't have it as a player, so I played one. It got to the end. I went, okay. Hey, warning, I'm going to spoil the ending of Kingdom Hearts. They all go to bed and they go into like cryostasis at the end of that game.
Oh, I thought you meant they all had sex. They all had sex together, sexual intercourse. Oh, that's what you meant.
And then, Donald, Goofy, and Sora.
Well, Donald's halfway there. He doesn't wear pants. He's ready.
Ejaculated themselves into cryosleep. Then we went into 2.
Wow.
And then we were dealing with a bunch of people in cloaks and hoods. And then they came out and they were adventuring again. I was like, wait a minute. None of this ties into what just happened. And it's because I didn't play a bunch of Game Boy games. Gotcha. If I had played those, apparently I would have understood it. But I didn't understand it. And I didn't understand what happened in 2. But damn it all, spoilers for Kingdom Hearts 2. There was a point where Mickey Mouse lands and he's dual wielding Keyblades, and I was like, "That's pretty cool. That's cool as shit." I don't know why,
cool, though,
but that's really cool.
It's not cool unless his voice got cool, because otherwise it's, "Ha ha! I got 2 things. I'm dual wielding. Ha ha!
I'm gonna wreck you fools." I got 2 Keyblades, one for each of you.
There you go. Hey, we didn't talk about
it's kind of working for me. John's impression is actually.
Oh, you're turning around on this. You're gonna scoop that up, Bo, when it hits the old.
No,
story?
but it does sound appealing. I can see it if you're into Disney stuff and want that. Like, I can see why someone would like that. I think it's kind of bad. It's a badass remix. You know, if he's all fighting and being cool, video game style.
We have fun at the. I shouldn't speak for everyone. I like to have fun at the expense of Kingdom Hearts players because it's mostly just for fun. I actually have no problem with that.
Like on paper, it's the lamest thing in the universe, right?
It should be, but it's not. People love it.
It's not.
People love it, yeah. And I'm here to let them love it. You guys love what you love, all right? Mortal Kombat movies trailer. I almost forgot to bring this up. What was that phrase I just said? Mortal Kombat's movies trailer? What the hell phrase is that? All right. There's a new Mortal Kombat film, trailers. And there's a new trailer for it that just hit today. And I think it looks rad. And I'm really excited about it, like to the point of I don't even care if it's bad. I'm ready, man. Let's bring that back. Let's go. I like how they kind of integrated the old theme. I love a lot of those actors already. The dude that plays Scorpion is one of my favorite Japanese actors. He's just awesome.
Yes.
He says, "Get over here" in the trailer.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah. It looks great. There's some finish him going on.
He said it a little weird, though. I don't know. I think it's okay, though. I think it's a pass.
He said it a little weird.
Well, it's because you get the same sound file for decades, right? It's like, get over here. Right. And he's like, get over here.
Yeah, get over here. I'm like, come here.
No, that's not the delivery. The syllable stressing, it matters, but I'm sure it's fine. He probably just wanted to make it his own, and that's okay. Yeah.
But that gun going off and Sub-Zero freezing that buckshot out of the gun is pretty badass.
Cool. And then he froze blood and turned it into a dagger and stabbed him with the dagger and then threw him through a spiky ice wall.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. They're just doing it. They're just doing what I need them to do. And then Kano holding a friggin' heart going, that's a flipping beauty. Like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks like they're jumping into the cheese. Also looks violent as shit, which I need. The things those first 2 movies are missing. Well, the second one is an abomination. They should have called it Mortal Kombat Abomination instead of Annihilation. But anyway, that first movie was fun and had, its moments. But they're all written like, well, we can't be too gory. And that was a very controversial game back then. These guys are like, no holds barred here. Even this trailer was like freaking disgusting. I'm stoked. I want gross finishing moves. If anything, I just want more characters. Like, it seemed like they're sticking to the core people. I didn't see Johnny Cage even.
No Johnny. But I did see, it looked like Melina's in there, which typically means Katana's in there. We saw a statue of Shao Kahn. We saw a stealthy guy, which maybe is Reptile. Goro was in there, looking good. Didn't look like a big, weird rubber suit that's going to get punched in the nuts.
Yep. Looked like a proper CGI bit of work there. That looked good.
Yeah, Liu Kang's actually doing some fireball stuff, and the costumes were really good too. Because I didn't see him and go, "What a dork!"
Yeah,
like because those costumes should look dumb.
Yeah,
But like Kung Lao comes out with his like razor hat, and I was like, hell yeah, Kung Lao, he's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good, you guys. I'm actually legit excited about this movie, and it's coming to HBO Go or now or whatever, or what is it, Max? First, like day of, like everything else they're doing this year, and I'm ready.
We should all watch it together and do a live reaction to it, and it'll be then because we'll join the pantheon of YouTube reactors, and we'll get millions of views, and we'll launch an empire.
Let's do it. It'll finally happen for us. Our train will come in.
Yeah.
Anyway, it looks neat. Go check the trailer if you're into it. And like I said, even if this is super dumb, I don't even care, dude. I need a big dumb Mortal Kombat movie in my life with modern sensibilities and effects, and a couple of these actors are just badasses. I even think the guy playing I forgot his name. Who's the bad guy in the first game?
The sorcerer, Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung, there you go. He's the guy playing him looks a little like that Jerry Tagawa or whatever his name is. It's not Jerry. Whatever it is. That guy, love him.
Yeah.
He was in Man in the High Castle.
DuckTales.
DuckTales,
he
that
was
guy.
also in DuckTales.
I love that guy. Anyway, he looked good. Like, everything just looks great. Oh, and there was a big Shao Kahn statue, which, you know, they're clearly going to go for a series here if this succeeds, right? Yeah. So you'll get people. Like, Jax is not in the first game. Jax doesn't show up till 2. But he's in this.
We're going to call it the MKCU, like the Mortal Kombat Cinematic Universe.
I like it.
My gosh, yes, we should.
That's good.
And then we can have...
What?
There's enough material for it. I just don't know how good it's going to... I mean, you know, I don't know what kind of... It's all going to be the same movie, I expect. I don't think we're going to get stuff on the level.
You guys got to watch the Sindel origin story if you want to get this reference.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other character.
What about... what is that guy's name? Like Orphan Black or whatever. What's his name?
Orphan Black.
Oh, no. I know who you're talking about. His last name is Black, but now you've said Orphan, and it's all I can think of.
MK
something Black. The cowboy.
Aaron Black.
Aaron Black.
Like, I'm just like, I don't even remember when this guy got introduced. I'm playing Mortal Kombat 10, and I'm like, what's this cowboy guy? Like,
I love it. I love the theme guys. The theme guys are my favorites. Him and what's the Indian guy called? The Native American guy?
Nightwolf.
Nightwolf, dude. He was in Annihilation and terrible. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, I have a clip from him. Let's play.
Is it him saying,
really?
Unlock your animality?
It is that. And we're going to hear it now live on the show. Because we did this on Film Sack, so it's not going to be that new. But animality. Hold on. Okay, here it comes. Yep, this is him. This is Nightwolf in Mortal Kombat Annihilation with the worst line of the movie. Here you go.
It's my animality.
Oh, my Lord.
It's my animality.
I hate it so much. Oh, that sequel's so bad. So bad. But
remember when the two bad CGI dragons fight at the end? That's
also
awful.
Bad. It's just awful. It's garbage. Garbaggio. However, this new thing looks cool. So sign us up is what we're saying. All right, we got to talk about the games we've been playing this week, and it begins with this. So, Dyson Sphere program has driven me mad. I really like it.
So good.
And as a result, I have been tooling around with some of the other sort of assembly line factory builder things that I have in my library, because I just thought, we'll do a little comparison. Let's see who's taking ideas from who and what's going on. Played a bunch of Dyson Sphere, and then ended up playing a crap ton of Satisfactory again. And I haven't played it in a while. There have been tons of updates since I last played it. And here's something I've learned about both those games, including Factorio, which I also spun up a little bit, just to kind of compare them all. And they're all very similar. Here's the problem. It doesn't matter what I do. I'm shit at these games. I do my best, okay? I know what I got to do. I got to go get that iron deposit. I got to get a mine on it. I got to start pumping that out of there. I got to build plates. Got to build wire. Got to build... Blah, blah, blah. I know what I got to do, but it's a mess. Like, it's the way I run everything. You should see the cables behind my desk over here. It's a nightmare. It's not that I'm dirty messy. I'm make it work like in a Mad Max kind of way messy. So Cable's in. It's making sound. Sweet. We got a show. Like, I'm not too worried about, all right, is it lined up exactly right? Is it avoiding all power sources? Do I have it going exactly? Like, I don't get that way about almost anything I do. And it turns out it's the same in video games. And when I play Satisfactory or Dyson Sphere or any of these games, my shit is all over the place and it looks like crap. But it's producing. It's making stuff. And it's doing it in a somewhat inefficient way, but it's still getting the job done. And I'm still sending the rocket thing back up to the planet or wherever the hell that thing goes. Like, I'm still getting the job done. But am I ugly about it. And I'm not sure I would ever stream one of these games because I'm embarrassed by how poorly I organize my factories. It's just bad. So, Bo, you've been playing
It's not the look of the factory. It's the
feel of the factory.
But don't do this.
Of the machination.
But don't do this. Don't go on YouTube. Nice. Don't go on YouTube and go, oh, I want to see some Dyson Sphere program sweetness. I want to see some people with their great factories. I want to see satisfactory layouts. If you do that, you're going to feel like dirt because people are making amazing, incredibly efficient, beautiful 100% efficiency things across their planets. Just beautiful stuff. And mine's just zigzag. Well, that'll kind of work. Is that enough power? I guess barely. That's fine. Put a thing down.
Yeah, but those people are having their own kind of fun. Like, I know when I'm building, sometimes I just build weird, like the conveyor belt probably has an efficient route, but I just build it all spinny because it looks cool or something like that. You know, like I put extra conveyor belt just to give it a twirl or something like that. It's a creative game. You don't have to. That's just one kind of person playing one kind of game, and they don't set the rules for life.
I know, but I get a weird FOMO, man. I get a weird feeling of. I always don't get this in games. It's like if I play a shooter the way I play it, I don't care if anyone sees me do that. I play a horror game poorly. That's fine. Just whatever. Here I go. But in these, they feel like I feel like it's a. How do I explain it?
Like you're losing, or you're in it. Like it's a reflection on you that's embarrassing. Yeah, it's unflattering.
Yeah,
and especially because you play publicly too, so you're like streaming and stuff, or you know, like if that plays into it as well.
Yeah, they'll see it and go, "Oh my gosh, you call that a factory?" I really feel a weird piece, just a tinge of that. It's weird.
I know I was streaming it, and someone dropped in and was like, "Oh, you could do this that way, you could do this that way," and I was like, "Okay, well, I appreciated the information, but I was like." I hope this doesn't get kept up for a long time because I'm just like at a certain point I'm just like I just want to suck like it's
you gotta learn. You gotta learn by doing to a certain degree, and you also got to do what's fun. I used to play Sim Park, and I used to make all my parks out on the water because I thought the idea of going to a park where all the the playground equipment and all that was out in the water like Waterworld would be incredible as a kid. So that's what I did. I flooded every park that I made. It wasn't a good way to make a park, but damn it, it was fun. Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. You gotta have fun.
Well, instead of min-maxing, I mad-maxing in everything I do. It's
there you go.
There you go.
Junkertown.
It's your personality. The Mad Max. Yeah.
That's a great expression. You need to like.
Did I just coin it? Did I coin it now?
Yeah, I don't min max. I Mad Max. Like that's the kind of thing you want on your tombstone, man. That's awesome.
I'm gonna write that.
Write it
on
down.
Twitter.
Put it in a Fred and Can comic or something like.
It's now on Twitter and is dated. So if anyone wants to beat me to it,
I don't min max. I'm Mad Max.
Yep. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. All right.
Make that the title. We'll claim it. We'll claim it everywhere. It's like sending
a great show title for this week.
Sending a certified letter to yourself. Is
I would think that this is just going to become my life philosophy. I may publish a book like centered around this whole thing.
Oh man, I think I just shorted out my headphones. Hold on. There we go. Okay. I was going to show you guys something.
he Mad Maxed his headphones.
All right. Check this out. So there's this thing in Satisfactory where your initial workbench thing early on when you're not automating everything is you're holding down a button. It's either your mouse button or you're holding down the space bar to make some initial stuff, turning raw iron into ingots or those ingots into plates or whatever. And so you're just sort of ding, 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 and holding down space bar to do it. And because I'm inefficient and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't make any of the copper wire. I'm going to have to do that manually because I don't have a copper wire production thing yet. So I'm going to go back to the workbench and make some by hand. And I need to make like 200 of these. instead of me sitting there holding it, I use this old iPhone 5 that's like the size of a Tamagotchi, and I lay it on my mouse. It's just heavy enough to lay it on my my space bar, and it does it for me. It's great. It's fantastic. So it's almost like having a physical accessory with your game. I almost feel like marketing one and selling it to Satisfactory players. But anyway, long and the short of it, that game is really cool. And basically, I mean, Bo, just imagine Dyson Sphere program in first person. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, I've been eyeballing that one because I'm getting into the genre. Like, it's definitely an enjoyable, casual game that just doesn't have that element of combat in it. I always appreciate when a game can be really fun and not involve combat. It's just because most games have that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to play. I want to play Satisfactory with some people. It looks.
Oh yeah, we should totally. That thing's so co-opted up now. I guess I haven't done any of that, but I guess it's super.
I mean, it's still early access too. So like, you know, I'm sure there's sure to be lots of other features coming down the pipe as well, which is exciting.
What I love about those guys, I'll ever be grateful for this. I bought into that game when it was on Epic only, and knowing that I was probably going to lock myself into the Epic ecosystem for that game, and that's just where I would live. And when they went their year there and then came over to Steam, now they're in both places, I get an email saying, hey, you were one of our early purchasers over on the Epic Store. We really appreciated that. Here's a code to get it on Steam as well. And so I got the code for Steam. It was the coolest thing. No one's ever done that to me before. No other game developer ever said, hey, we know you invested once on a platform. We're not going to make you do it twice. Here's a code. And I assume they did that for everybody.
Their Steam trailer was hilarious too. Like,
yeah, it was really good.
They're very self-aware. Like I was watching it, they definitely had like these. They referenced, I think, the fact that they were on Epic in like a humorous way as well, or something. Like it's just, I don't know. I guess their game lends itself well to it because it's not like they're trying to sell some. It's not Baldur's Gate 3 where they're trying to get you lost in the fantasy of what's going on. They can just be like super self-referential and meta and fourth wall breaking. Yeah, so
I like that.
It's nice that they did that for you because again they can do things like that. I guess if they're just that philosophy is nice to see. I guess.
Well, they just seem like they're really with it, and I really like that game a lot. So I'm going to keep playing it, supporting it. That reminds me, you said Baldur's Gate 3. They got a big update this week.
Yeah, I saw that they added Druid into the thing. I can't play it, or I have to get a new computer, which I'm working on as we speak.
I don't want to get
all that cigarette money going towards a new computer.
I just don't want to get it too early. It feels like the kind of game where I don't want to test it. I want to play it, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, I can tell you the opening is awesome. Like compared to like their Divinity effort, you know, they start you right off in a Mind Flayer ship. In the ship in the trailer, you literally get up in that ship and you're flying across whatever. I don't even know what realm you're in. I think it might be hell. I think you might be flying in a Mind Flayer ship in hell, trying to get off of it. I think
I'm in.
So like, I mean, I'm just like, I didn't even play through the first act. I just played the first maybe hour, and I'm super sold on it already. The only thing is it ran like jank, so I can't like either I need a better computer or they got to just improve the game for lesser systems. Or some combination thereof.
Sure.
And yeah, I don't mind waiting. It's not finished. Like it's not a finished game.
Yeah, so. It's just that kind of game though. Like whereas with Satisfactory or my favorite darling of a unfinished game, Shipbreaker, those games are even with like a progress wipe, which we'll get to later in an email before release or whatever, I at least know how do I put this? It's different than an RPG where I'm going to invest a ton of time into characters and story. And so those kinds of resets and redos and stuff that happen during the development process are just much more hard to deal with. Whereas with a game, I can just, Satisfactory is the kind of game where I can just go, you know what? Starting a new factory today. Let's go to this other planet. Let's do the desert planet. Sweet. Let's do it. Like there's not a giant RPG, even though you got progress, right? You've got all the stuff you've done. There's value in doing it over again. Whereas in an RPG like Baldur's Gate, I don't want to just keep repeating early stuff. So yeah, I think I'm going to hold off until it's done.
And there's a bit of a worry. I mean, I already spent the $80 on Baldur's Gate, and no regrets. But I mean, because Wizards is involved, there is a bit of worry that it'll get another Cyberpunk issue will happen with that game, or just or even a Warcraft 3 kind of issue where just like a deadline is foisted on the developers because Wizards wants it out by a certain quarter because it meets their business needs, where Larian would normally not give a crap because it's just Larian. Like no one, there's probably investors that are concerned, but it's all very probably the dynamic of inner politics is probably very narrow versus like a giant corporation being involved. So Baldur's Gate 3 does kind of strike me as something like, oh, they wanted to release this and have the hype for the various press conferences, and because it's nowhere near as like Dyson Sphere program's in great shape for a game and out like early access. Like
I agree,
it's 100% playable. It almost feels like there's gonna be more. Like I'm very busy in this game. Like what more would you put in here? But Baldur's Gate definitely strikes me as like, yep, this needs more time to be made. They didn't finish
I think
making
the thing that might work to its benefit, and I don't know because you just can go off of what you hear, but my understanding is that Wizards is very protective of their property in a sense of they don't want a bad product with their name on it. So they might actually be a little more they might actually be a little more forgiving, because the developer came out and said they initially turned them down, and it wasn't until they did Divinity 2 and could use that as a look, this is the kind of game we're going to make, that Wizards was willing to work with them. I don't know if that actually holds up, but that's something that gives me some hope that they might pull it off.
I mean, I'm talking out of my butt. I mean, I don't really know, but it sort of smacks me as a little bit of like, it's definitely not. There's early access games where you're like, oh, I bought this game and I'm glad I did. I paid for it and it's a game. I could just launch it now and I wouldn't regret it.
Yeah.
And then there's games like Baldur's Gate where you're like, yep, it's not finished.
Yeah.
Like, it's and it was barely playable on my system. So
not super optimized yet. Yeah.
Even on low settings, like I'm like, I could tell it was not because it was like my computer's old, which it is. It's more that it's not optimized. Yeah.
Sure. Oh, I forgot to tell everybody I was playing I played 2 hours of Little Nightmares 2 on stream. It's a side-scrolling horror game. That's not supposed to be as scary as it is. That thing freaking
it's a board
scared
game.
the shit out of me. It's really oh my gosh, there's stuff in there that's disturbing. Like really disturbing. And I was shocked by that. I thought this was going to be like playing Limbo or something where you're just side scrolling in kind of a cool atmosphere and it'd be a little creepy, but there's some shit in that game, man. If you want to see that, it's up on my YouTube channel. Yeah, it's beautiful, but it's, oh my gosh. Just seriously, there were moments I thought I was going to, just as scared as I've been in any other game. Blew my mind.
It's funny because it's so cute and adorable looking.
Oh, wait till you get to the teacher. There's nothing cute or adorable happening at that school. The school sequence, and I'm told it's even worse when I get to the hospital, but the school chapter, which I'm still in toward the tail end of, I think, just horrifying. It's so, that teacher is so freaky, dude. I don't even know how to describe that game, but I'm playing that.
Oh, they showed a little clip of the teacher. I'm just watching the trailer. I saw the teacher like slapped a ruler on a desk. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, she's a real piss pot. Not only that, her neck stretches when she thinks she's seen you. You have to stealth around her all the time, and she'll just kill you. It's really something, that game.
Oh, so this is not like, oh, it's scary because it's gross. It's scary because they put a lot of effort into like animation and like mood and that.
Herky jerky weird animation. You don't really know why you're even in this world. It's actually kind of an impressive feat that they could do this with a game that is not a first person sort of horror experience or even a third person traditional sort of.
That's what I mean. It looks really polished, like art wise, and
it's neat.
Like,
it's an Unreal
game.
It's
impressive. It's actually really. I wasn't because I didn't watch you stream it. I just saw your tweet, but like now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's actually really impressive because it looks adorable, but it does. There's some Slender Man business in this. Looks like too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Lots of like really imagery that is very disturbing and makes you feel very like a good horror game should do. The ones that really get me do that really well. Anyway, it's great. Oh, chat room sharing clips. That's wonderful.
Yeah. This looks amazing. I'm going to show this to my wife.
Yeah, she'd love a good, scary game, I'm sure. Push that baby right out.
Showing up real early.
What else? I cannot say enough about Legend of Keepers. It's my current love affair game. I love it. It's a terrible name, but I love this game. They're about to hit 1.0. In fact, I thought it was going to be this week. I think it's next. So it's basically done, but it's been in early access for a bit. I talked to you guys about it last week a little bit, talked about it at length on the Boop Show. So if you want to go hear more there, you can. But basically, it just takes some things that I love and mushes them together. There's a little bit of Darkest Dungeon. There's a little bit of Dungeon Keeper. And there's just a great turn-based RPG happening with some of my favorite, like, animated sprite stuff I've seen in a really long time. Speaking of the stuff we were talking about with Metzen's art in pre-show, there's that quality to some of this art in the game where I just love these archetypes. This, a guy will come in with a fiery head and fire coming out of his hands, and you just know he's going to be a cool fire wizard guy, and it's so iconic, and they just sort of nail the language of the visual sort of just kind of, it's almost not like heavy metal, but I don't know what to call it. It's very cool. Worth checking out. It's cheap right now. I think it's $15 or something, and worth getting. And I downloaded that Valheim thing that everybody's talking about, and played a little bit of it. I haven't gotten too far, and I haven't done any co-op, but that game is weird. It's like, I mean, so far I'm seeing all the, it's a lot of the mechanics you're used to with a lot of survival games. Punch this tree, get the wood, build a thing, build a better thing, go do more skills, find stuff. Like, it's all that stuff. And then there's elements in that game where I'm not even to, like, bosses and stuff I haven't done. But what really blew me away about it was when I loaded that up, no one told me about the visuals. I've seen video and went, oh, that looks like a modern, environment. A guy, freaking Viking running around this cool forest. And, wow, those are really nice sun effects. And it just looks like a pretty game. I didn't know it was, like, so lo-fi. But because there's so much detail in all of the lo-fi, it ends up looking hi-fi, if that makes sense. It's weird. Like, it looks like Quake-era graphics if you look close. Like, I don't know how to explain it. That game is weird. It's freaking weird, and it's so huge.
I heard it was a small download. Like, one of the reviews I read was just like, oh, it's like a 500 meg download, but has like managed to have more depth than most games. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's got all this. I don't know if it's voxel tech or what it is, but it looks like if you look up close, everything's kind of got. They're not squarey Minecrafty. It's more like, I don't know how to explain it. John, you know that game that we played that was you go break into the place and you bust stuff up, and it's like Minecraft but really.
Yes.
What was that called?
It's called Teardown.
Teardown. There's something like Teardown going on visually. Where
it's like, it's basic looking, but somehow when it all comes together and you step back from it, you're like, this game looks phenomenal.
Yeah. It's really a weird effect. I was kind of blown away by that part of it. I haven't played enough to say much about gameplay other than it feels like one of those games so far, but
I bought it.
We should play sometime then.
So if there's some time to multiplayer it up, I'm curious about it. I just I've been playing Dyson and other games, but
yeah, I did like
so many people have been talking about it. I'm like, I guess I don't play a lot of survival games, so I'm like, let's try this one out. I think Vikings are cool. I was really enjoying Valhalla.
Yeah, and when
is like,
you had said something in our chats about impulse. It was an impulse buy.
It was an impulse buy. I was like shopping around. I'm like, well, it's only $20.
Yeah, it's
and
cheap.
It's like the best reviewed thing in a long time, and a lot of people are streaming it. And Rust and Ark never, appealed to me. And but this, like, because it's Vikings and it looks like there is some cool mythical monsters in it. I don't know. And then they said multiplayer. I thought it said 1 to 10 players. I don't know, but it seemed like there was a lot of, there was a possibility that I could get rope friends into playing it.
You can run your own servers too, so it's got that aspect to it, and and in some ways it's a, it's a Minecraft mod, but it's not Minecraft. There's something, I don't know, there's something going on there that's hard for me to put my finger on it. It's very cool. It's also, the music's amazing and the sound works amazing. I don't know who this team is. But for a 500
survival
megabyte
game for 1 to 10 players,
yeah,
that sounds like fun. You're getting a bunch of people to play, and I don't know, go kill a big thing. Like, it's like almost maybe it's like playing World of Warcraft, but not the MMO part. Just like a, I don't know. There's like this aspect to it that seems.
Yeah, because you basically, from what I can tell, you start with hardly anything, and then you build your way up to big castle keeps, and then you're building your own armor and weapons, and you're leveling up skills just by doing them. Like, I noticed right away, I was leveling up jumping because I was jumping a lot. And running a lot, and punching things, and I got leveled up on those skills. So those skills which feels very RPG-ish. It's a little more like Skyrim-y, kind of. The more you use it, the better you get, the more proficient you are. And from what I can tell, if you work as a group or solo, and a lot of people really like it solo as well, you get your armor and you get your weapons and you get your stuff, and then you guys are, we go out and hunt down the 3-headed beast of, Voldemort.
There's some really big monsters. Like I'm looking at one image where the monster is like the size of a building, and I'm like, oh, so it's like a mix of No Man's Sky but Vikings. Like it's just a forest and some water.
Yeah.
You go get resources, build things, build your base.
But I can't say enough about
some
that.
RPG.
This weird visual style. I don't even know how to describe it. Like at first, it's almost off-putting when you realize it, because you're like, oh, it looks like a Quake guy or something. It's like a super lo-fi, but then all together, all of these details. Actually, John, I thought of you because it's like a comic book, and you know how, like if you're reading digital comics, you can zoom in and they have the whole guided view and all that. And sometimes you'll zoom in on a shot and you realize, well, there's some really sloppy ink work in here, but at a distance, it works because you can't do that kind of minute detail in the little corners, but it all works as the larger image. It's fine. That's how this feels in video game form. It's weird. Just big, beautiful
vistas. Is that like Risk of Rain style? Like, I know what you mean by saying voxel, but voxel seems wrong.
It's not like right. That. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm
trying to think of a game. I've played other games with this like aesthetic to it.
It's almost like if PlayStation 1 games looked good.
Yeah.
I can't explain it. It's really odd. But it's neat, man.
I think of like I played games like it. Like it's just where it's like it's a deliberate style choice.
Yeah.
And not so much. Like they're probably able to do pretty amazing things and make it look good without having to have like just gobs and gobs of texture maps.
Yeah.
Like, like it's interesting.
It's cool. Well, we'll have to play some more of it. I didn't play enough to really say. And then finally, as if I haven't talked long enough, I have a lot of caffeine in me is the problem. So I finally, a while back, pre-Christmas, we ended up getting a TV upgrade. We haven't had a new TV in, 10 years or something. Old 1080p freaking flat screen thing was dying. And we're like, all right, we're going to do this right. I'm going to get one of those LG UHD freaking OLED screens, like just the 240 hertz, fast frame rate, blah, blah. Got the new console. I wanted to take advantage of it. Like, let's just do this right. And so we did. We bit the bullet and got it. But outside of like Gears 5, I haven't really pushed any of like the UHD or the Ultra HD stuff or the what's the color thing? Whatever it is. The crazy dynamic high def HDR. That's it. The HDR color stuff. So and 4K and all that. I didn't know. I hadn't really put it to the test. I downloaded and played Ori and the Will of the Wisps on there. I don't have a ton to say about the game because I haven't gotten very far, but holy shit. I don't think I've ever seen a more beautiful presentation of a game in my life. I was blown away, you guys. Blown away by that.
The Ori games are spellbinding. I haven't played them because I haven't been into the idea of playing the game, but I really just want to look at it.
Yeah. Well, that's how this was. It was just like, and the game's good. Like, it's a good Metroidvania style. This one's got this has some like base building and a little bit of like SteamWorld Dig 2 concepts that the first game didn't have. I think you'd really like it. It's also challenging, so there's some hard levels and stuff like that. But visually and sort of animation and just moving around that world, not to mention the music and other stuff. But I've never seen a game look that good ever. And it's it's side scrolly. It's 3D elements, but it's not. This isn't like some first person shooter or something. It's one of the most stylistic, beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. And what I didn't know about that development team is this is only their second game ever. And now they're owned by Microsoft. So, who knows what they'll do in the future. They'll have money, but they started out as a studio that were all separated anyway before pandemic time. So they built Ori and the Blind Forest, the first game, completely remote from each other. They didn't actually meet face to face until they went to a GDC one year to show off that game. That's amazing to me. Like, they should sell their pipeline, they should sell their
like a book, like how to do this.
Yeah, how to do this, because during pandemic they were set for putting Will of the Wisps out in this same way without all the barriers that you usually run into with this kind of problem, because they've already done it. And the results are incredible. That game is incredible looking. So I'm just saying, if you have Game Pass and a TV capable of the things I mentioned, 120 frames per second, UHD, high HDCR,
animating all the time. Like I'm just watching some video, and it's like
it's
all the grass seems to be moving, like things are glowing, like there seems to be movement everywhere on the screen, even if it's subtle and small.
I want to live in that world. Like it's the most lush, beautiful thing I think I've ever seen a video game do. So anyway, it's really something. Moving on. Oh, we talked about No Man's Sky. Anything else to add there, John? Sorry, I forgot.
No, I'm naming all my planets after Pokemon.
Really? I'm naming all. My names are all rude. They're all rude names.
Is that legal?
What, the Pokemon?
I don't know. That's not my problem. They didn't. I did name. So I named the planets after Pokemon. I named the systems after generations of Pokemon, which helps me remember which planets are which. It's actually a really good way to keep track of what planets are what by using something that you know, because you go, wait a minute, what was I on? It was kind of a fiery planet from the first system I was in, and then I know, oh, okay, that's Charmander. Go there. It just sticks in my head in a nice way. It's been very convenient. But I still feel the need to name all the animals myself and come up with names for them. And for the first time, I discovered there's a profanity filter in that game. Oh. I did not type what I felt was a profane name, but maybe it's I was making up words. So I'm, naming stuff like flubaflurb, and, I typed something and it was like, no, we've registered this as a profane word and you can't use it.
You don't remember what it was? You don't remember the name?
Sky had that.
You don't remember the name?
It was just nonsense. It was just like Chubanara or something like that. And it was like, no, you can't use that.
Vaginista.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. If VAG is together, it probably goes, nope.
Yep.
We'll have none of that syllable here.
Yeah. We'll have no vag in our game. Thank you very much. Well, that's cool. I like your naming convention. I usually do rude things like Poo Planet and Poo Planet 2, or it'll look all icy and I'll say, this is cold A, or it'd be dumb names like that.
Cold anus.
Cold anus.
I wonder how many, after a certain amount of times, it's like, dude, a little dialogue changes, like, dude, stop.
I just say no and keep doing it. All right, Bo, you've been doing Hearthstone, ranked in BGs.
Yeah, so I got a confession to make. I'm kind of all in on Hearthstone, which is kind of funny timing because BlizzCon Online, we've been kind of like, well, it'll be the Diablo 4 show. We get it. We kind of, like there'll be other stuff, some World of Warcraft, but I don't think anyone's expecting anything off the wall crazy new. Like maybe there's something a little new, but like no new, like the StarCraft 3 is not getting announced, right? Like, we're not expecting a big announcement in that regard. But it just so happens, because I've been sort of taking it easy on the kind, switching up the games because I play. I've been super into just getting into Hearthstone. I started with Battlegrounds, but now I'm playing Ranked Ladder. Yeah. So I'm up to Gold, and now I'm just like, I think I might try for Legends. So I'm kind of like probably going to drop some money at some point on cracking some packs so I can build some meta decks.
That's great.
And I'm kind of just been playing every day. I'm kind of into it right now. So what's kind of fun is that BlizzCon's around the corner, and now I'm super jacked. Not injacked, but jacked for all the Hearthstone announcements, because there's actually a crazy amount of stuff coming. They're switching out the classic core sets.
Right.
There's a new expansion. There's apparently they're doing WoW Classic and Hearthstone, so you can play Hearthstone like it's 2014 or something.
Oh yeah,
like that
is basically what they're doing. It's classic.
Yeah. And there's gonna be some other new game mode. And I'm just like, I'm super thrilled. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm just randomly and suddenly really into this game as of 2 weeks ago, and now I got a big crazy show to look forward to tomorrow for the game I'm super into. So it's just like it's kind of worked out in a weird way for me.
I love that. That's actually great. You're gonna get like you have excitement about a thing that's gonna get a whole bunch of attention this week, and that's super
like
cool.
I was like, we'll get Diablo 4 stuff. I'm excited for it, but I know I'm not going to play that for a while. So it's like my excitement's tempered by just. But now I'm like, will they announce a new expansion in a week from now? I'm like, oh boy, like I'm all just like giddy like a kid right now.
Yeah,
for what might be coming for that game.
You're making me want to play Battlegrounds, even though I'm terrible at them, but I enjoy it. That's the only auto battler I enjoy. I really like.
Yeah,
it.
Battlegrounds is quite good. I mean, I enjoy playing it, but like I've gotten into ranked just because like to get all your quests and they have this new tavern pass, like battle pass like everywhere else. So I've actually maxed out for the first time I think in my life. I have a fully maxed out battle pass. Like I got all the levels, so I got all the rewards, including the ones I paid for.
Yeah.
And you have to do that because like some of the quests are for Battlegrounds, but I'm like I got to go into ranked, and I'm just kind of memeing for a little bit in ranked, like playing just fun, stupid decks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, I have enough cards. I said this last week, but I've gotten enough cards to like build cheap decks. Like I have every relevant, rare, and common at this point. So I've started to climb, and I got a taste for climbing. Now I want to climb more. Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of that.
That's great.
There's not much to report though, but I'm sure we can maybe talk about it next week because BlizzCon will be come and gone.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about whatever they announce. I'm hoping there's Diablo 4 stuff for us to tear apart next week. That would be good.
Yeah. And speaking of Diablo 4, I just want to mention it here now in case you guys weren't aware. I think I posted it, but I don't know that we talked about it. But there's going to be a Magic the Gathering ARPG that goes into open beta in March.
Oh,
called Magic Legends.
No.
And it's kind of like you get cards, but it's an ARPG. It's top down, 4-button.
That's what they're showing on Epic Store. They're pushing this pre-order.
Yeah, I think it's going to be on Epic or something like that, which is fine. But like, it looks like it might run janky or it might run good. Like I'd have to get it in my hands, but it's still an ARPG. It's still an alternative to, I kind of just feel really concerned about Torchlight 3 and can't pull the trigger on buying it. Grim Dawn just never hooked me. Path of Exile doesn't have damage numbers, which I hate. And I've considered playing Diablo 3 a number of times, but I've just played that game so many times I just can't do it again. So I'm looking at Magic Legends like, please be a sleeper hit, like because it seems kind of cool.
I think Legends is
Magic
the card.
Legends.
I think that's the card game, isn't it?
No, that's Arena. It's Magic Legends.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, so Magic Legends open beta. Yeah, it's the one. So go to YouTube and look for IGN's got posted some new videos. Basically, you equip. It's just like Diablo 3, but you just gather cards and then you pick a certain type of planeswalker. You mix and match passive abilities with card abilities, and the thing is, you level up the cards. So there's, a leveling progression mechanic, and it has all the seeds to make a great game. It seems to kind of, because creatures are the most common type of card in Magic, it seems to sort of emphasize that you'll be summoning a lot of creatures, but, they got blue mages and things like that. It looks like it could be really good.
It looks pretty, though.
I am all in. I've signed up for beta,
yeah,
but they're going into open beta soon. I don't think I'm going to get an invite to a closed beta. But it goes into beta in March, and that's around the corner. So right now, Magic Legends, I think, is the big thing I'm looking forward to. It's an ARPG. It's Magic. I like Magic the Gathering.
It looks real pretty.
So and it looks good. So it's perfect world. So who knows? I think that's a 50-50 on the developer behind it. But if it ties me over to Diablo 4, I'm super all in on this.
Pretty sure their Perfect World might just be. Oh yeah, it's Gameheads. It's Cryptic Studios is doing the.
Yeah, but I mean they've got online pedigree. They've done online games. It's with Wizards, so as you said, Wizards cares about its properties and IPs, right. Especially this new version of the Magic the Gathering studio with Arena is a real big success and is really fun to play. It feels like it's going to be that B tier quality like Arena is, where it's it's a really good video game, but it's not a perfect quality video game, but it gets you there. And certainly the artwork from on the cards is really good. So it's going to be a good product. I feel really favorable about this. So hopefully it's fun.
Was that this year?
Going into the Epic Store actually made me realize Rage 2 is free right now.
Oh yeah,
Epic Store.
I saw that. Yeah.
Boy, do I feel good about getting a refund for that game now.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind checking it out to see how it improved, because I was told it did quite a bit, but by then everybody was sort of past the hype, and getting it for free. Heck,
Rage 2?
Yeah, remember Rage 2? I think you
I
own
actually
it.
liked Rage 2. I mean, there's parts about it I hated. The beginning of the game is so dumb, but like the shooting is actually good. And
yeah, there's things to like about it. Oh yeah, that's today. I guess this. Ooh, Sunless Sea. After that, Sunless Sea is awesome. Their free games lately have been great. By the way.
Yeah, I also picked up the drifting game that's free right now because that seems like that might just be fun. So.
I think I own that somewhere from a code, and it is fun. It's cool. It reminds me of graphically, it's like Super Hot meets racing.
Yeah,
it's pretty neat. It's like a Tron, kind of a Tron vibe, and I love drifting in car games. It's my favorite sort of sub mechanic or whatever, and I love it, especially in rally games. And apparently, at least when I played this back in the day, the physics model is supposed to be super accurate for a top-down game. Yeah, I'm glad you said this. I got to grab these before they go away. I try to get every free game they have. My library is getting huge. I mean, there's no harm in it. Even if
I forget to log in, which is unfortunate, but
I try to remember once a week, but I didn't this week, so you just saved me from being mad at myself for not grabbing those. Anyway, all right. Bo, anything else you wanted to mention?
No, that's it. I'm really glad we brought up Magic Legends because this is like.
I'm glad too.
I'm so looking forward to this, like crazy. Like I need an ARPG, and I was like, oh my god, I will take this. Like it's so.
It's actually weird how. I guess I didn't know they were this far along or that there was video and stuff. I knew about this being made.
It's still beta, so I guess it's not all done. I mean, I don't know how long this beta is going to last for this game, but just that it's free, open beta, like I'll play it.
Also, what an interesting concept to make the cards your ability keys, basically.
Yeah, and they probably are iconic cards too. If I'd be willing to bet, as well.
Right. All right. Well, I just purchased, or I just got 2 free games, so I feel good about
that. Nice. Well done.
All right. Well, we got a quick email, everybody, and then before we wrap things up, and here's that.
That's a good question.
We got a question from Joel. It's actually more of a statement. He sent an email to talktothecore@gmail.com. You're encouraged to do the same, everybody, and we get great emails. We love them, so keep them coming. He says, hey, Scott and crew, a quick clarification on that upcoming hard space shipbreaker progress reset. This is mostly for me, but anyone else
that's sad. Yeah.
Well, I mean, actually, this is one of those cases where I'm not that worked up about it because that game's fun enough. I don't mind resetting. It sounds fine. But anyway, it's not for the release version, but rather the next big update to early access, which is 0.4.0. It's apparently quite the update, adding story elements and other big changes to a number of systems. The details from the devs are on the Steam discussion page. That's it, man. Thanks for all your shows, guys. Thanks, says Joel. So yeah, everybody out there who, on my recommendation, either on sale or otherwise picked up Shipbreaker, I haven't played this week in anticipation for this update because in that case, yeah, why do more progress if it's about to update? I'd rather kind of see that update. Now, what they say beyond that, if they're going to do resets, that may determine how much playtime I put in before final release. But I'm so excited for these updates. They're doing this really cool story stuff that isn't quite in the game in full now. And what little there is in story now is very cool and intriguing. So I'm really just stoked to see what their ideas are.
Will it confirm if this is actually in the Homeworld universe? A question that there is no answer to, and nobody has ever sent us anything about, and there have been no articles about it.
Right.
As far as I know, it's an unanswerable question.
Right.
So maybe we'll finally get an answer.
Right.
As of this update.
Yep. You'll hear Adagio for strings, and you'll hear that music and go, oh, interesting. And then one of the ships you break apart will be a big, long, tall ship, like master ship thing. And you'll be like, oh, and then none of this is going to happen. It's not going to be in that universe. I'm almost 100% sure of it. But you might
There's
be right,
no way
John.
to know. It's impossible.
There's no way to
doesn't
know.
exist.
You're right. But anyway, thank you for that email and that update. And that is correct. So for everyone I sold on that game, just know you got a progress reset coming up. Still absolutely worth playing that game as soon as you get a chance. I did want to express one tiny bit of sadness regarding this week in games, and that is there was a game coming out that looked rad, and it turns out is poop. So don't waste your money on it. But it was a game that's part of the Dark universe. Bo, you probably know more about this. The tabletop universe.
Dark universe?
Yeah, like Vampire the Masquerade and...
Tom Cruise was a mummy.
Not that one. Not that.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I mean, though, right? Like it's vampires and werewolves.
The tabletop RPG.
Yeah, it's all that stuff. I don't know a lot about it, but maybe it's the Darkness universe. Anyway, there's a game that just hit called Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood, which is supposed to be all set in that universe. And it had one of the coolest, I'll still stand by this, the coolest CGI intro cinematics of the year. It is really cool. Apparently, it's absolute garbage. Everybody says stay away from it. It's terrible. Don't play it. So I just wanted to express a little sadness.
Yeah, a game called Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood isn't good. I mean, if you've got to give your game 3 titles, you know something, as Bubbles would say, something effy is going on here.
I mentioned it on the show the other day. I watched just the little trailer for it, and I didn't think it was worth mentioning after that.
The trailer looks
that's a shame.
Cool.
I want a good werewolf game.
Right, I do too. And the trailer looked like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. But then the game, I guess, is just...
Wow, so there was a good trailer, and then the game itself failed to deliver.
Weird, right? I know. You never see that.
Madness.
Well, I mean, it's still sad. It's such a tease when something like that happens.
Yeah. So. But this is what you do.
Okay, I've never seen it, though. I didn't even hear of this game before.
They farm it out to Blur Entertainment or whoever that is that does all the third-party cinematics when you don't have your internal cinematics team like Blizzard or somebody does. And so whenever that happens... I always know that that's going to be amazing, but the game they're actually putting it on may not be. This is just one that looked really promising to me, and I guess it's poop. So.
Oh yeah, this trailer is like pretty high res.
It's nice, right? And it's just cool.
Sorry, werewolf fans, you're gonna have to go back to Elder Scrolls 3: Blood Moon.
Boom. All right,
that's where it peaked.
The recent.
Oh yeah, the trailer makes it look amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah, right. Doesn't that look rad? It's the sound and stuff's it's just really cool. I love video game trailers. That's what I'm saying. I love them, even if the video games are bad.
I think just if you're gonna do something that's so different from the base game, you gotta release them both at the same time, or you're just trying to swindle people.
There you go. Quick bit of business. If you're around on Saturday afternoons, beginning of BlizzCon line for that day, what time does it start that day? I still don't know. Hold on. Con.com. Okay, so here's the schedule. Day 2, the 20th. That's this Saturday. The World of Warcraft Q&A will be both on the Blizzard official channel and the World of Warcraft channel simultaneously. I'm going to be hosting that / moderating it. Nice. I believe there's 6 of us, maybe 7
I'm excited.
Total. Yeah, it should be great.
Excited.
I'm very excited.
I just love like seeing my friend up there killing it and rooting you on. It's such an exciting thing to look forward to.
Well, that's really nice of you to say. The difference here, obviously, in 2018 when I did it, it was on a stage in front of 26,000 BlizzCon attendees. If anything, this is more nerve-wracking for me because when you're at BlizzCon, you're there because you love being there and you're having fun. And Blizzard can even if it's an announcement you're not stoked about, you're still just having fun in the thick of it, right? The atmosphere's great and everything else.
I'm halfway across the country, like just in some crazy place where people dress up like Reinhardt. Like it's great.
But online, where we're doing this all remote, given the pandemic, it's a little bit more like everyone's a keyboard warrior at home, and I'm just worried there's going to be some a-holes out there. But we'll see.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Aren't they filtering it for you? Like you shouldn't have any chats open.
Oh
right?
yeah, none of that's happening. We're not doing any of that.
Like, you don't have to have chats open. Don't.
You have a handler.
This is you talking to devs, just like you're talking to us right now. This should be old hat for you, Scott.
It
is just you doing a podcast with a bunch of devs, and you have questions that people send in for them, and you're gonna rock it.
Yeah, but here's the difference.
Definitely don't look at the comments because it's just gonna be people being like, "Hey, Blizzard,
here's the difference, though.
PvP gonna not."
Here's the difference. They're gonna be people listening to this show. There are 20,000 of you, and we'll interact with a few hundred of you that reach out and email or talk to us in chat or whatever. And you're all nice, and it's great. It's a manageable number. 20,000 people. Hey, send us $1 each, everybody. That'd be great.
Yes.
But 20,000 of you listening is, I am used to that. 250,000 up to 1 million or more people watching. I don't know. That's different. I'm not nervous in the way that I'm not nervous like this isn't going to work out. It's going to be fine. I just know the community can be a little harsh sometimes. So tune in, check it out. It's going to be fun. 1 p.m. Pacific time. That's 2 p.m. Mountain Standard, my time.
It's like John might be sitting right while you're doing that. John might be having a nerve-wracking day of his own with a baseball glove in the hospital trying to catch just so if you're feeling nervous, picture John trying to catch his little guy.
Yeah.
And or you can think about me just like cheering you on at home.
Sure.
I'll probably be stuffing my face with
naked. I'm picturing you naked eating blueberries. And
the thing I'm sad about is that we can't spend the lead up to it doing what we did last time at BlizzCon, which was you and I sitting off to the side of some Overwatch panel just making terrible fun of it.
Yeah, that was great. I enjoyed that.
I don't remember what we were making fun. It wasn't the people. It wasn't really making fun of Overwatch. We were just making fun of everything we possibly could just to lighten the mood and have a good time.
Yeah, my least favorite part of that year was I was upstairs for part of that in the press room. That may have been where we were making fun of it. I don't remember. But we were up in the press area, and they had scheduled interviews for me during my time that I'm supposed to be on stage. And I remember being annoyed by that. So, like, every once in a while, a guy would get on the speaker and go, we got Scott Johnson in the instance, meeting with so-and-so. Come up front and get ready. I'm like, no, I'm not here then. I'm down there. I'll be on that screen. Like in 5 minutes, what are you guys even doing? I remember being annoyed because they were okay. They all have different jobs. There are people they're trying to manage.
There's a lot of people trying to get it all.
I get it, but I remember being like, "Oh, don't do this to me," and they all seemed annoyed that I wasn't gonna be there.
Well, maybe next time you bring we'll bring a wig and get another copy of your glasses, and you can send one of us in.
Oh, that's a great idea, John. I'll send John.
We'll doppelganger it.
We're both dead ringers for
John will go in as me. You go in as Garrett, and say
I'll go in as Garrett. I'm Garrett Winezirkel.
You can say I'm Winezirkel.
Yep. I grew like a whole foot.
I'm Winezirkel. I have cool hair and I like cars. Yay! And then they'll let you.
Yeah, and I grew my hair out long.
Yeah, you'll be all set. Anyway, if you want to watch it, 1 p.m. Pacific, Saturday. Come check it out. There's going to be some really good stuff, and there are things that didn't leak. Okay,
yeah, I like this idea. I want John and I to role play as the instance hosts.
All right, do it.
I'll be Garrett,
and
you can be Scott.
When
we go to BlizzCon.
Yeah. The next time we're at a physical BlizzCon, we got plans now. This is going to be great. Anyway, who knows when that'll be? I hope it's soon. That's it. That's the show. And a reminder on that email address to send us yours at talktothecore@gmail.com. because we'd love to hear from you. Okay? All right. We're at patreon.com/core show, and that's important because that's how we keep the lights on this show. So if you would like to contribute even a little bit, you can. There are great benefits to have and reasons to do it. You just got to go check it out at patreon.com/core show. What else? Is that all I got? frogpants.com/core. Core Pod on Twitter. You can also find John at John_Jagger. You can find Bo at Bo Schwartz. You can find me at Scott Johnson. And every week we do this on Thursdays now at 7 p.m. Eastern, and that's 5 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Pacific. So come check us out and watch us live at twitch.tv/frogpants. I think that's going to do it. John, parting words of wisdom?
Sometimes you can't take care of each other, and in those cases, take care of yourself. John ejaculated.
The most deadpan ejaculation I've ever heard.
Oh, man. You might have premature. Just kidding. But Bo, what's your final thought?
I don't have anything wise to say. I just want to say love you guys, and it was a pleasure to be here again, and love everyone at home.
Oh,
that's it.
That's nice of you. Somebody today earlier asked on Twitter, said, we need a new rant from Bo. I said, well, some of those just come. So you can't plan them. They just happen. So
I've been trying to keep calm these days too, so I'm not trying to get worked up about things so much. But it's bound to happen. It's the video game industry, folks. Somebody's going to do something stupid.
Oh yeah, someone will free to play themselves into a hole, and Bo's going to bark them right out of there. So you watch. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next week with more. Until then, stay safe, and we'll see you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
It's a TMS thing to say stave.
Say stave.
Yeah.